Just had a meeting with Aaron. Dizzy Aaron is his name on Instagram. Amazing kid. He lost everything, his car, his house, and he had to start from scratch. So he went to a dumpster, got a bunch of what he calls trash, I call treasure, and he started posting that and selling it, flipping stuff. If you guys are ever stuck with money, have to start all over again, check out this video. Last week I had some time to myself, so I was just on Instagram and I was searching challenges like 2018 flip challenge, and like you popped up, and like I think Resi Resell, he popped up too, and I started looking at everything and like the money you guys are making and the things you guys are doing, like shit. So I started researching this a little more, and like this stuff is like so interesting, man. So just break it down, man. Like,
all right. Well, pretty much that 2018 flip challenge was something that evolved from 2017 flip challenge, which is something that Gary V kind of started out. He mentioned it. I've been following him for probably like 4 or 5 years now. And I've always listened to the guy, and everything he says was spot on. But like everybody else, I never really acted on it. Like I had prior businesses that I would run and I was doing, but I wasn't really implementing everything that he was saying. So kind of what happened with the whole flip challenge thing was in April of last year, some really crazy stuff happened in my life, which basically made me lose all my businesses that I had for the past 15 years.
Shit.
So I lost my house, my car, everything that I had. I was basically homeless, no money, no nothing, no laptop, you name it. Like I was literally round zero, right? So at that point, I kind of just like gathered my thoughts, and I was like, well, the fuck am I going to do? So, in the back of my head, Gary V comes up, and I'm like, oh, well, Gary V said that ever in the position where he'd have to restart everything all over again, first thing he would do is go out and start flipping shit, right? So at that point, when you don't have any money, you kind of have to figure it out. And at that point, I literally had nothing. So I'm pretty spiritual, so I prayed to God, and I was like, hey, you know what? I need like $500 worth of inventory to be able to start flipping, right? And I'm just sitting back at home, and my roommate is like, hey, do you want to go down and pick up my kids? And I'm like, oh, all right, sure, why not? So we go pick up our kids, and on the way home, I noticed that there's a house with a dumpster in front of it, right? And there's like a nice leather couch sitting right next to it. So I'm like, hey, that's a nice couch. And I don't have a couch, so it'd be cool if I had a couch. So I kind of put it, all right, I'm going to stop by tonight, and I'm going to just pick up that couch. It's on the side of the road, right? So I borrowed her car, and I went back there. And when I got there, I just happened to glance in the trash just to see like, what's in there, and then I noticed that they had packed everything all nice. So I'm guessing somebody either got foreclosed on or they had to move real quick, but they packed everything in the dumpster really nice.
Nice.
So I was like, hey, I kind of need inventory to resell. Fuck it, I'm doing it. So I started going to the dumpster, and I'm like, hey, I can sell this. Hey, I can sell this. Hey, I can sell this. So I just started grabbing everything up, and long story short, I filled up her complete car full of trash, right? Trash. And that's what I used. I used that to start my whole business up. A dumpster full of trash.
So a dumpster full of treasure.
Yeah, exactly. Like for them, it was trash. For me, I was like, dude, I could sell this. So I started off originally selling on OfferUp, which is a local market app. And that
is that Southern California? Like where is that OfferUp? Or is it all over the US?
It's all over the US now.
Okay.
Yeah, they've expanded, and you can ship stuff and request shipments and stuff. But I started on that, and at first, like I was going to garage sales. I was basically doing everything that Gary Vee said to do. So go to garage sales every single week, grind, keep your fucking head down, just keep doing it, right? So I was doing that and basically reinvesting every dollar that I got. So bare bones minimum stuff that I needed, I would have. Aside from that, everything that I would get profit wise would just go right back into buying more stuff at garage sales, thrift stores, and I would do that over and over again, rinse and repeat, until I found out about this other app called Mercari, which kind of like after selling enough stuff on there, I kind of figured out it's kind of like eBay mixed with OfferUp. So you have a blend of that. So the demographic on there is a little bit different, but they don't mind paying a little bit higher for the items. And I started selling on that. And in September of last year, I sold my first pair of shoes, which was the first thing I ever shipped out, that I bought at a garage sale for 50 cents. And that sold for like $22. I was hooked.
Nice. Nice.
All right, now I shipped my first item. I know it's possible. So once I figured that out, I just started listing every single book that I had. I mean, with OfferUp, I was literally making like $100 a week.
Yeah.
Right? And to me, going from absolutely nothing to $100 a week, that was a lot. Like
that's food. That's food, man.
Yeah, like I was making it. So I was like, all right, cool, I can do this. But with Mercari, once I just doubled down, like I tripled down on that, because in one night I listed probably about, I want to say like 250, 300 books that I had. And then I got sales on the books like right away. Like they just started selling. So books seemed like a really good idea because I could have a lot of books. I didn't have a lot of space. Like literally the penthouse. Anybody that follows me on my Instagram, I always mention my penthouse, right? It's literally my dad's garage. So I try to fit in as much inventory as possible, and books was just the best margins. So
I was looking at, I look at so many Instagram accounts, and I think it was yours where it was kind of breaking down the sales on Amazon based on the product, and I think yours was like 56% was books. Was that you or somebody else?
I'm at like 70% books right now.
You're 70%. Okay, so it must have been somebody else's account I was looking at, but yeah, it had 70% books, huh?
Wow. Yeah, so I've done a little over 50,000 this year in book sales.
Yeah.
And that's just basically from Mercari. Once I saw that the sales were picking up and books were just selling, and I could use media mail to send stuff really cheap.
Yeah.
Like $2.60 for each book. At that point, around December of last year, is when I basically decided, you know what, I got to scale this thing, and the only way I'm going to scale it is if I use something like Amazon. I knew nothing about Amazon. All I knew is I saw people's Instagram where they were making $20, $30, $40, $100,000 a month, and I was like, hey, if they can do it, I'm going to figure it out. So in December, I shipped all of my inventory, like literally everything I had, to Amazon, and just got my fingers crossed.
Tell me more about Amazon. I'm like really interested with Amazon right now.
Well, that's the thing. Like for me, I didn't know anything about it a year ago today. Like I had just shipped my first shipment, and I wanted a way to be able to scale my business.
Yeah.
And then with Amazon, I come from a business background. So you're in mortgages, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I used to do, residential and commercial financing.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Back in the 06, 07.
In the heyday when things were like this.
Yeah, when
I remember like California's my second home. I spent a lot of time in the Bay Area, and I remember guys were working at like McDonald's and Taco Bell, and then 2 years later they're driving like Mercedes and like BMWs and. Yeah, like, and then all of a sudden they're back, right? So yeah, it was the heyday back then, illegal days.
Yeah, that was the crazy part. But yeah, that's a whole nother story right there.
Yeah, we'll leave that one around.
Yeah, so with Amazon, basically, I noticed other people were doing it, and then with the products that I was doing, which were books, like at the time, like it was, I'm gonna say like 90% books, or over 90%. I just needed a way to be able to move the items quicker, and I knew Amazon was blowing up. I'm super into anything that has to do with computer stuff. I have a background in computer science. So with Amazon, I knew they were going to blow up. And I knew this is just like the beginning of it. And because had already started the reselling thing, I figured Amazon was going to be my platform that I'd be able to move a ton of stuff in. And because the items that I was moving, which were books, were real simple to handle. Like you don't have to worry about a book breaking on the way to your customer's house. I figured it'd be low risk, high margins, perfect product to be able to start my business. So in December when I sent all my inventory to Amazon, and I noticed the sales started taking off. January, I think I made maybe like $1,500 worth of sales, which was ridiculous to me because I was like, dude, first month, that's crazy. And I had already kind of projected my whole year's worth of sales based on what I was doing and my mindset behind just reinvesting every single dollar that I had coming in. So all this year, like literally all this year, I've had 0 days off, just had my head down. Every dollar that I got was just going right back into the business because I had a mindset of, I know where this is going to go and I know what this is capable of doing. So I just need to get the funds to be able to fund this thing, you know? So that's all I did all year long. I would just go to garage sales, go to thrift stores, hit up people on Facebook Marketplace. Anybody that had books, I would straight up just tell them like, start an Amazon business and I resell books. He just looks at you like, why would you sell books? Right? Like that was like the most common response I got, like that look on their face when they hear he's selling books. All right, we'll see how that goes for him. And I didn't care. Like I gave no shits. Just
so when I started watching yours, right, and this is like on Friday or Saturday, right? I came into the office and I'm the same as you. Like if I got nothing to do, I'm going to hustle. I'm going to be in the office. I'm going to do stuff, right? So I come into the office and I start doing some research and, you know, yours pops up and a couple of other guys pops up and they said the amount of money they make off a textbook. I'm like, how much money are these guys making off a textbook? So I just go to, so in Canada, we got Let Go. You guys have it in the US too. And then we have a couple other ones here too. So I was like looking, I'm like, okay, look, let me do my own research. So I found this book, right? It's like $25 they want to sell it for. I looked on Amazon used. It was going for like $130.
Yeah.
Like, what?
All day long.
I was like, holy shit. And then I messaged this person. I'm like, hey, you still got the book? She's like, yeah, I've had it for like the last month. And I was like, oh, okay. So I'm like, yeah, there's money to be made there. But I'm guessing you guys are actually not buying for $25. You're probably buying it for like a couple of bucks. Or getting it for free.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I have a sales background, so I'm okay with people telling me to fuck off. Like, no problem, you know.
Yeah.
So when I approach people, I'm always I know they're trying to get some money for it. Obviously, they have it listed, right? They went out of their way to list an item and deal with people's replies. So I approach them in a way where it's gonna make sense to them. Like, hey, I'm offering to give you some cash for your product, but at the same time, I'm trying to pad my margins as high as possible.
Yeah.
So what I usually do is I'll go in if they have a lot of books for sale. I'll go through every single one of their listings and find some other stuff that they have listed, and I'll buy multiple items. Yeah. And then that way they feel like they're getting rid of a ton of stuff, and I'm getting a deal. And that's basically it. Like a lot of the times I've noticed, especially now that my numbers have gone up, the amount of followers have gone up, people are starting to take what I'm doing and they're like, oh, well, it's working for him. So apparently this works, right? And with that, it's the same questions. Like people ask you the same thing, like, oh, well, how do you do this? How do you do that? But
your engagement, like I'm reading all your comments, right? Like, you know, that's your comments are like a huge lesson for most people that want to start this. You know, you have a post and it's like 35 comments, 40 comments, and you just read it. I was like, oh, okay. You know, you answer every single one of them. So that engagement is great. And like people following you that want to do this, it's amazing, man.
Well, that's the thing. It's still fresh in my mind to know what it feels like to sleep on a floor and like not have anything. So with that mindset, to me, when people ask me things, I know where it's coming from. And it's real easy to see the people that are completely bullshitting you and they're not going to do anything. And they just want you to tell them that magic secret formula that is going to get them $100,000 next month. which doesn't exist.
It fuels the ego. That's all it is, and they feel happy. It doesn't feel the pocket or the purpose.
Yeah. So to me, like having someone like Gary V to be able to like throw my bullshit on, because that's literally what he said. Like, hey, if you do this and you like people give you shit, just throw it on me. Just say like Gary V said to do it, and that kind of gave me that little bit of edge, I guess, you know, to be able to just go ahead and do it and just double down on books and say fuck it, like whatever. If this guy making $100 million a year is saying that this is gonna work and garage sales is where it's at, and you guys just need to fucking hustle and keep your head down, then I'm gonna do it, you know. And that's kind of how it is. That's how I approach people that hit me up. Like they have a question and they're asking me because they're in whatever situation. Like I have, my DMs are full of people that they give me their stories about where they're at, what they're doing, you know, their struggles, things like that. And to me, I'm going through that, you know, like, yeah, I may have had a good month last month, but to me, it could easily be all taken away again.
Oh, hell yeah.
Back in their position, you know?
Yeah. But the thing is, this will never go, and this will never go, right? So, yeah. And that's all you need. Like, I would love if I go back to zero again. I'll start over.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, because of what happened last year in April, now I have such a, like, I don't give a fuck attitude where if all of this was taken away, I'm going to do it all over again, and I'm going to do it faster and
better and bigger.
Yeah, exactly. Because it just makes for a better comeback story. Like, the story of going through and dumpster diving for bullshit and like grinding 24/7 and actually doing it. Like that was a thing when I started my Instagram. It was more so to keep myself grounded and focused on what I was doing. It wasn't because I wanted 400,000 followers to, you know, like prop up my ego. I have a YouTube account and I used to do YouTube. I made over 800 videos. So I'm used to being able to interact with people. And on the Instagram, it was more so just for me. But when people started following me and they started asking me things, and I started posting basically the day-to-day grind of what's involved with an Amazon business, I noticed that resonated a lot better with people because they saw like, hey, it's actually work, but if you grind it out and you put in the work, it pays off, right?
Did you do the Instagram? Did you do the Instagram more for accountability?
To myself.
Yeah.
Like just straight
accountability to yourself.
Yeah. Because I knew, okay, you're going to be doing this, whatever journey you're on. And you're going to hit a point where like something can go wrong and you could feel like, oh shit, stuff's not going the right way. But you could easily just swipe up, look at where you started and how excited you were to sell that one pair of shoes.
Love it. Love it.
You know what I mean? Like that was the thing that to me, I could just, whatever day I was, you know, I had an 18-hour day. I was fucking tired of this. I was like, oh, you know what? I don't know. I haven't seen any profits, and everything I do get, I'm reinvesting it back. And in those type of days, I would just scroll through and I'm like, but remember when you bought that trunk load of books and you were fucking so stoked? Yeah. Those moments are the ones that would.
Yeah. And each of those pictures have a different story, right? For you.
Yeah.
So when you look at that, like I remember exactly where it was 5 minutes before and like 10 minutes afterwards, right? So it just rings. I agree with you 100% there.
Yeah. So doing that, it's just I could easily take myself right back to those moments and remind myself, oh, well, remember you didn't have an Amazon account. You weren't making this type of money. You were literally doing offer up and waiting for people to come so you could sell $100 a month. Yeah. You know, or whatever it was. It was stupid numbers, but
so I get a lot of I'm 42. I get a lot of younger, I'm not saying entrepreneurs, but younger people that come into the office that want to get into business or they have a 9 to 5 and they just want to make more. And like I never pushed the flipping side. I did it when I was younger, you know, buy parts here, buy for $2 and you sell for $5, stuff like that. But really didn't get into that. Strictly got into business in my mid 20s and crushed it on this side here. Lost a few things and started back up and went that way. But like this is something I can actually pass on. It's so much easier. Like I said, on Saturday morning, I started doing all this research.
And I think I messaged you like a midnight, 11 or midnight on Saturday.
Yeah. Can we just go over how quickly like we set this whole thing up and how like we're already doing the video?
Yeah,
it's been like a couple days.
Not even a couple of days, man. I think we nailed this in like from the time I started to the time I contacted you and said, "Hey, look, let's do a video." I think we're probably looking at 12 hours, and that was me doing my research.
Yeah.
And then I did my research. I think I emailed you or messaged you at like 11 p.m. midnight, and then we communicated back and forth within that 10 minutes saying we got to set something up, and I just had to wait. Dylan was on holidays last week, so I didn't want to bug him. So he's back on Tuesday. Hey, look, what day works? And then message, and boom, we're here. And that was,
and that's basically how that's how I do my stuff too. So it's get it over with, do it, and that's it. You know.
Yeah.
But what you mentioned, the whole like this is actually something practical that people can implement into their life. My roommate, she works 2 jobs, right? Yeah. She has 2 kids and she grinds her ass off doing your typical 9 to 5. Yeah. I had a conversation with one of her daughters who was 11 years old at the time. Yeah. And she was telling me, you know, like, yeah, we want to go to Disneyland, but we've never been able to go and this, that. And she gave me, you know, a pretty deep story. So I was just like, hey, you know what? An 11-year-old could do this, like literally. So I just went out of my way and I taught her how to resell stuff on Mercari, because obviously I don't want her selling locally and having people come to the house and all that stuff. So I taught her how to do it, and she just started looking for things that she no longer wanted, started taking pictures of it, listing it on Mercari, and boom, started getting her sales. So now she's up to, I think, about $100 now. And she's saving up. Yeah. Oh, she loves it. Like she.
No. So she's 11 years old?
Yeah, she's 11 years old.
11 years old. Okay.
11 years old. Never done any kind of resell or anything like that in her life, but she saw what I was doing, and she constantly just sees random things pop up in the garage, and she was curious enough, and she wants to be able to take her family to Disneyland. So she's on that grind. So if an 11-year-old could go out of her way to set up a Mercari account, obviously I helped her out a little bit, but list the items and sell them, and people buy this stuff from them.
But Aaron, here's another thing you just put into her. It's not at 11. It's not the money. It's the discipline. It's the work. It's the ethic. It's everything else that you put into her, right? And she probably learned more from you in that 10, 15, 20 minutes or 2 weeks, whatever you explained it to her, than she probably has learned in the last 6 years of school.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I'm not really big on school. I love learning and education,
but not in school.
The whole school process, like, to me,
you're preaching to the right person here, man. I get it.
Outdated.
I get it.
No, I checked out some of your videos. Like a lot of your.
I'm a failure, man.
Yeah, like I went to college just because I thought, like, well, computer science, like, to me was basic. I loved it. It was just something that came natural to me. So I figured, oh, well, I'm gonna go to college and I'm gonna get a degree in this and blah. I went there. I didn't even stick around for like the first semester.
College would not even accept me. I had to go to trade school.
Yeah, see,
I only did that for my parents, not even for me.
Yeah, like, now you mentioned something where the people that are coming into your office, and you know, you want to be able to give them something to where practical, where they can actually go apply it. This business of reselling, I honestly believe it's it's a gold rush that hasn't even started yet. Like, the people that are already in it, I've noticed that there's a lot of people that have been in the industry, in Amazon industry, for a while. But because Amazon's just exploding so quickly, this industry.
Well, they hit $1 trillion yesterday. A market value of $1 trillion, right? Like,
and I think they're at like 50% of retail sales.
Yeah.
So they've gone up from $360 billion in 2016 to, well, now it's $1 trillion in what, 2 years?
No, forget that. They went in 180 days. They went from 600 billion to a market cap of $1 trillion in 180 days.
Yeah, that's insane.
400 billion, man.
And I don't think people understand that, how huge that is.
Yeah.
And right now, the people that want to make money and they don't, they're trying to figure out, well, how can I launch my business, or how can I get this app going, or whatever it is. Amazon's literally going to start creating markets. Like I feel like it's going to create markets because the way that, just how you said you did maybe a couple hours of research on Saturday, looking at textbooks just to see if it's even a viable business model or even if it's doable, right?
Yep.
Because people right now, or the vast majority of people don't know that Amazon is its own market. They're not looking to even sell on Amazon. They're not looking to do anything with it. So you have this complete different market in the retail world, in the real world, right? Where Amazon's completely different. Like people, you can drive 5 minutes down the road to your local store and buy that one item that you want, or you could pull out your phone and scroll and pay for it on your phone and have it delivered tomorrow, but it's going to cost you 3 times as much, right? And that's where we make money. Like just recently on one of my posts, I went into a store, I went into Target. I spent maybe like 5 minutes in there and I cleared them out of all the coffee that they had.
Yeah.
Some mac and cheese.
Yeah.
And some other random shit that you would just be like, well, why are you buying coffee, mac and cheese, and whatever? Well, because the Amazon market's way different. Like you could literally buy that same, which is what I did. I bought those items, and instead of just selling one item, I just packaged them up as a bundle.
Yeah, and selling the bundle. Yeah.
Now you get your favorite coffee, but you get 2 of them, and on Amazon you're paying triple the price. But people do it all day long. Like people would just do that all day long. And
it's more convenient. They don't, like, a lot of them don't want to jump in the car and go anywhere, or they don't want to, be busy in line. I got a friend of mine who doesn't. She goes to the stores, looks at everything, but doesn't buy it there. Mm-hmm. And then she goes on her phone, orders everything out for Amazon. I'm like, it was cheaper at the store, and you're already there. She's like, well, I'll have to carry it around. I'd rather get it the next day, delivered to my house, and I don't have to worry about it. And I'm not really worried about saving a couple of bucks here and there. I'm looking at every single penny.
Yeah. Well, because you and me are the same way. Like I went into a Nike yesterday or the day before, right? Because I just recently got allowed by Amazon to sell Nike. So I went in there. I was like, oh man, well, I'm gonna come up on all kinds of deals because I didn't even know it was a holiday. Like, just put it that way. I have my head down so hard.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was a holiday until someone messaged me on Instagram, and they were like, hey, so how are those Labor Day sales going? I was like, wait, what? It's a holiday? What? So I went, long story short, I walk in there and I was like, you know what? I kind of need shoes because I'm rocking the only pair of shoes that I have. So maybe it'd be a good time to pick up some shoes. Well, after spending an hour in there and scanning everything and buying shoes and sandals and all kinds of stuff, I'm looking at my shoes and I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good.
I'm good.
Walk right back out. Yeah. Like these still got some tread on them. We're good to go. Like I
got my feet up right now. Dylan's probably looking at the hole in my shoe, and I'm not going to replace it until it starts raining or it becomes snowy, and then my socks get wet. I'm going to get pissed off, and that's when I'm going to go buy it. But like right now, no, I'm good.
Yeah, that's the same way I am. Like one of my buddies who's been around since I was doing Mercari, like literally when I say last year when I had nothing, like I had no friends, my cell phone had no service, I like nothing, right? But one of my homies from a while back, he found me, he still does real estate. And we ended up talking, and he's watched the whole progress of everything that's happened. Until this day, he's like, dude, but don't you like want to go spend some of that money? Don't you like, I'm like, no, like this is what I like. Like I like the grind. I like being able to watch my business grow and be able to interact with people and help them. Like that's what I thrive off. I don't really thrive off of materialistic stuff.
For me, it's not the destination. It's actually the journey to the destination that I have more fun on. Right?
Yeah, like that we're on the same page where it comes to if you took it all away, cool. Like now I get to build an even better comeback story.
Exactly. So exactly. Like here, please take it. Please take it, and I'll come back. Right. Like I'm good with that. 100% good with that. Hey, I got a couple of minutes here left. I got a few questions here. Do you do like fulfillment by Amazon, FBA, or do you do the merchant one, fulfillment by merchant?
I do only FBA.
FBA?
So, yeah, because I don't have any room. Everything that comes in, I just get all that stuff packed up, boom, right up to Amazon. So
and then they handle everything. Yeah, I was actually researching that this morning. Like, it's probably much better to why wear all those hats when you don't have to? Your job is to just go out there and find more product, and then leave everything for Amazon, because they're a beast in this side, man.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, with Amazon, they're so customer centric that if you have any issues with an item or whatever, as a client, you can return that back for whatever reason you want, and you have, I think, up to 45 days to return it.
Yeah.
So from a business standpoint, you want to be able to not worry about those returns.
Yeah.
And when you do FBA, FBA does a pretty good job of kind of protecting you from that kind of stuff. But at the same time, to me, like the main thing that I worry about is just my ratings. Like, I want to have perfect 5-star ratings, which is what I've maintained this whole year.
Yeah.
And I've sold over 5,000 different items. So I've noticed with Fulfilled by Merchant, there's a lot more complaints that go back and forth, because you literally have to.
You don't have the system, man. People don't have the system that Amazon does. I totally 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
And then you have to be licensed by Amazon to sell, like, name brand, like Nikes for one of them, or like how like this first time I'm hearing about this.
So the way it works is, when you start out, I guess since I'm new to this, like, this is my first year doing it, but I guess last year and the year before, Amazon was having a lot of counterfeit products being sold.
Yeah.
So people were opening up accounts, they were listing items, they were getting thousands of dollars per month, and they weren't either sending anything, or they were just sending out counterfeit items.
Okay.
So what Amazon did was they basically blocked everybody that's new from sending any kind of like brand stuff. Yeah. And you have to get a certain amount, like your metrics has to be a certain amount of sales. You have to have good ratings with Amazon. They don't really tell you what is required.
Yeah.
But your account has to be in good standings to be able to sell.
You got to protect both brands. You got to protect the, Nike and all these companies, and on top of that, you got to protect Amazon as well.
Yeah,
those are very important.
Yeah, and that's something that to me, I didn't even know that they auto ungated you, which is what it's called. You're basically gated when you start out, and then if you apply for a certain brand, they'll say you can request approval.
Yeah.
I remember, I think it was in June.
Yeah.
I was trying to do the online arbitrage thing where you buy stuff online and then have it delivered to your house and then just send it right back to Amazon.
Yeah.
I was trying that out, and then on one of the products, I was like, oh man, we're gated. All right, well, let me see if I can get myself ungated from that. So I requested approval, and Amazon auto ungated me. So they gave me an auto approval, and at that point, I was like, oh.
This is all done through Amazon seller's account?
Yeah, this is all straight through the Amazon seller account. So you don't have to talk to anybody. You don't have to do anything. You just go on there and just put a brand in, a product, and then if it says request approval, boom, it'll tell you if you're approved or not.
So this is how far of research I got into on Saturday. I actually logged into Amazon and went to the seller account and started messing around in there. So in Canada, they're asking for like $30 a month. Is that the same thing in the US as well, regardless if you sell or don't?
They have two separate accounts. They have one that's free. So the way that works is you basically pay $1. It's like $100 Canadian, right? That's an exchange rate. But
especially right now, our dollars just got hit hard after the NAFTA. I think it was yesterday.
Yeah. So you basically pay $1 per item you send into Amazon, or you pay for the Pro account, which I think it's about $50.
Okay.
So you pay for that, and it's unlimited.
I didn't see, like, I read that on comments, but I didn't see that on the Canadian side. So I think on the Canadian side, it's only that it's only 30. But if you guys know, if you guys are selling on, Amazon Canada, I'd love to hear the comments on what you guys are paying for.
I know that the markets are really different. Like right now, I have a couple of products that I kind of want to sell in the Canadian market because I noticed that there's not a lot of competition in certain like little niches.
Yeah.
So it might be different just because it's Canada. But as far as I know, so far it's been over $40 per month for the pro account.
Yeah. No, I definitely got to look into this. Aaron, I won't keep you too long. I know you're a busy guy. You need to go out there and find some more sales.
Yeah.
Make that money. I love it, man.
Yep. Doing it. It hasn't stopped yet, and I have some boxes waiting, so.
Sounds good. Any way I can help you out, let me know.
All right. Well, this has definitely been pretty fun. Yeah.
All right, buddy. So, appreciate your time, man.
Yeah, no, it's been fun.
Anytime. Yeah, we'll be in touch next time I'm in Southern California. I'll send you a message and we'll get together.
All right, cool. Sounds awesome. Good, man.
All right, have a good one.
Talk to you soon.